In the heart of Rome, beneath the shadows of one of the most iconic monuments on Earth, a secret has been uncovered. One that lay hidden for nearly 2,000 years. Archaeologists have just revealed a newly found passage within the Colosseum, a forgotten corridor that leads directly to the Emperor's Bain viewing box. The discovery is rewriting our understanding of how Rome's elite experienced the blood-soaked spectacles that defined an empire. But what does this hidden path really tell us about power, prestige, and the hidden mechanics of Rome's greatest arena? For centuries, the Colosseum has been a symbol of both glory and brutality. We know its grand arches, its towering walls, its labyrinth of underground chambers known as the Hypogeum. Yet, despite its familiarity, the Colosseum still keeps secrets, and this one is among the most tantalizing. Imagine being a Roman emperor, stepping away from the roar of politics into a private corridor, shielded from the masses, making your way unseen to the best seat in the house. This was not
just a path of convenience. It was a path of power. The discovery came during a meticulous restoration effort aimed at preserving the Colosseum's fragile structure. While scanning sections long thought to be fully mapped, archaeologists stumbled upon a sealed-off passage carved directly into the stone. Dust, rubble, and centuries of silence had hidden it. But as light flooded in for the first time in nearly 2 millennia, researchers realized they were standing in the very route once taken by emperors and their inner circle. Why is this so shocking? Until now, scholars debated exactly how the emperor accessed his exclusive box. Some believed he entered through grand public staircases. Others imagined hidden lifts or movable platforms, but this corridor offers tangible proof that Rome's rulers moved discreetly, shielded from the gaze of tens of thousands of spectators. For an emperor, every step was a display of power or a risk of weakness. This passage solved both, ensuring he appeared only when the spectacle
demanded it, like a god emerging before his people. The Colosseum itself was an engineering marvel, completed in AD/CE under Emperor Titus. It could hold between 50,000 and 80,000 spectators, all arranged in a hierarchy that mirrored Roman society. Senators, Vestal virgins, merchants, slaves, each had a designated section. But the emperor's box was the pinnacle, the throne from which all eyes turned, and from which life and death could be decided with a flick of his hand. The existence of this private passage underscores the careful choreography of Roman power. The emperor was both spectator and spectacle. Recent findings add even more intrigue. Traces of ancient pigments were discovered along the walls of the corridor, suggesting it wasn't just functional, but decorated to impress. Faint red and gold hues hint that even in secrecy, the emperor's movements were marked by grandeur. This was not a hidden tunnel in the dark. It was a gilded artery of imperial prestige. Yet this revelation also deepens the mystery. If such a passage remained undiscovered until now, what else still lies beneath Rome's ancient stone? The Hypogeum, with its cages for wild animals, its intricate pulleys and hidden trapdoors, continues to reveal surprises decades after being unearthed. Could there be more secret routes, perhaps even ones used by gladiators or performers waiting to be rediscovered? The corridor to the Emperor's box also reshapes how we picture the games themselves. As the crowd thundered and gladiators clashed, the Emperor would emerge not from among his people, but from the very bones of the Colosseum itself. This entrance was as much about theater as the battles below. It reinforced the divine image of the emperor, separate, untouchable, appearing almost supernaturally at the perfect moment. But consider the paradox. While emperors enjoyed such luxury, the games themselves were fueled by suffering. Below their gilded passage, prisoners and gladiators prepared to fight for survival. Exotic animals imported from Africa and Asia roared in cages awaiting their deaths.
release, The emperor's hidden path is a reminder of the stark divide between Rome's rulers and those sacrificed for their entertainment. Archaeologists working on the site believe this is only the beginning. With advances in 3D scanning and ground-penetrating radar, more hidden chambers may yet be revealed. Each new discovery adds a layer to our understanding, not just of the Colosseum's architecture, but of the psychology of empire. The Romans understood that power wasn't only enforced by the sword, it was performed in stone, spectacle, and silence. The newly uncovered passage tells a story of control, of calculated appearances, and of the emperor's need to remain both present and untouchable. It reminds us that even in ruins, the Colosseum is alive with secrets, still whispering the language of empire. And if one corridor has remained concealed for 2,000 years, we can only wonder what else waits in the shadows of history's greatest arena. Uncovering a hidden passage that once led directly to the Colosseum's royal box
reminds us just how many secrets still lie beneath Rome's ancient stones. And astonishingly, archaeologists have now stumbled upon something even greater: an entire Vatican palace buried beneath the city itself. What they found there is rewriting our understanding of Rome's hidden past. It's a sweltering afternoon in Rome. Beneath a busy piazza, a team of archaeologists crouches in the dust, brushes and trowels in hand. With each careful sweep, they reveal something astounding: the outline of massive stone walls hidden for centuries. This isn't just any ancient ruin. It's the remains of a long-lost papal palace, a discovery that has stunned archaeologists. The find happened almost by accident. In the lead-up to the Vatican's Jubilee year 2025, construction crews were digging under Piazza San Giovanni in Latrano, a public square in front of one of Rome's great basilicas, to lay new infrastructure for the millions of pilgrims expected to visit the Holy City. Suddenly, their bulldozers and shovels struck something
far older than a modern pipeline. Beneath just a few feet of soil lay a complex of ancient walls and foundations untouched for centuries. A secret medieval papal residence hidden right beneath the feet of ordinary Romans. Experts soon realized the significance of the discovery: the age of the walls. Some sections dated between the 9th and 13th centuries suggested they had found the fabled Patriarchium, an early papal palace that served as the residence of the popes long before the Vatican ever existed. It was effectively the Vatican of its day, the nerve center of the medieval church, and its halls echoed with centuries of prayer, intrigue, and even papal coronations. To understand how a papal palace ended up here, we journey back to the 4th century AD. In 313, Emperor Constantine the Great legalized Christianity across the Roman Empire with the Edict of Milan. Soon after, Constantine reportedly gave the Bishop of Rome an imperial property on this very spot. Historically, this plot had served as a
Roman cavalry barracks for Emperor Maxentius, the pagan rival whom Constantine defeated. In a symbolic twist, the stronghold of a fallen emperor was given to the church and became the cradle of Christian Rome. Here, Constantine founded a grand church, the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran, the oldest basilica in the city, and next to it a palatial residence for the popes. This first papal palace, known as the Lateran Palace, began as a relatively modest complex centered on a monumental audience hall, often referred to as a monumental basilica in records. As decades passed and Christianity grew from a persecuted sect into the empire's dominant religion, the Lateran Palace expanded in size and importance. By the early medieval era, it was a sprawling compound of chapels, residences, and council halls, effectively the Vatican of its day. For over a millennium,
From the late Roman imperial period through the High Middle Ages, dozens of popes made this their home. Surprisingly, life in this holy palace was not always peaceful. The Middle Ages in Rome were turbulent. The newly unearthed walls tell a story of a fortress as much as a residence. Archaeologists noted that the structure's builders had reinforced it with massive tuffo stone blocks scavenged from older Roman buildings and even added buttresses in places, clear signs of defensive design. Historical records back this up. Between the 9th and 10th centuries, Rome was menaced by Saracen raiders who attacked the city's outskirts. At the same time, powerful
Aristocratic families within Rome fought bitterly over influence, even vying to control the papacy itself. In response, the Pope's Lateran palace was fortified like a castle. The thick walls being uncovered beneath the piazza today likely served to shield the heart of Christendom from marauders and rival warlords alike. One section of the excavation even revealed a long, straight wall that scholars believe encircled the palace complex, forming a stronghold around the basilica and papal apartments. These stones were the silent witnesses of an age when being pope in Rome meant needing a personal fortress. Time, however, was not kind to the Lateran palace. In the early 14th century, a crisis in the church caused the Pope to abandon Rome altogether. In 1305, Pope Clement V, under pressure from French kings, relocated the papal court to Avignon, France, beginning the period known as the Avignon Papacy. For the next 7 popes and about 70 years, Rome was without its pontiff. The once grand Lateran palace fell into neglect. Tragically, fires and earthquakes struck the complex during this time, reducing much of it to ruins. When the papacy finally returned to Rome in 1377, under Pope Gregory XI, the old palace was in such a state of disrepair that it was practically unusable. The popes of the Renaissance chose to set up residence on the Vatican Hill by St. Peter's Basilica, a location they deemed safer and more suitable for the revived papacy. From that moment on, the Vatican eclipsed the Lateran as the center of
church authority, and the once majestic Patriarchium slid into obscurity. As the need for a defensive papal fortress waned, the sturdy walls at the Lateran complex lost their purpose. They were eventually dismantled or buried, their legacy preserved in only dusty chronicles. Authorities have hailed it as an extraordinarily important discovery for Rome's medieval history, noting that no extensive excavations had ever been carried out in this square until now. The Italian Minister of Culture, Gennaro San Giuliano, praised the discovery as yet another demonstration of the richness of the territory of Rome, an inexhaustible mine of archaeological treasures. Looking at the honeycomb of ancient rooms and corridors being revealed, it's hard to disagree. Rome has often been called the Eternal City, and here we see why. Its history literally has no end. Standing in the very trench where medieval popes once walked, one can almost hear echoes of that bygone era. No wonder every single stone speaks to us and tells its story. As Minister San Giuliano observed, thanks to these important discoveries, archaeologists will be able to learn more about our past. As our documentary journey comes to a close, we step back to consider the full meaning of this discovery. The hidden Vatican Palace beneath Rome isn't just an archaeological marvel, it's a bridge between epochs. It links the age of Constantine and the dawn of Christianity to the medieval struggles of the papacy, and from there to the
modern world that grew out of those earlier times. It reminds us that history is not gone. It is all around us, under our feet, shaping the present in ways we often do not even realize. In the heart of a contemporary city, amidst traffic and noise, an ancient voice has whispered up from the ground. A palace of popes, once lost, now found. The revelation of this forgotten patriarchium invites us to reflect on the resilience of heritage. Rome's layers of history, pagan and Christian, imperial and ecclesiastical, coexist in a grand palimpsest, and each new discovery adds another verse to the story. Even today, the Archbasilica of St. John Lateran, beside this excavation remains, the Pope's official cathedral as the Bishop of Rome, serving as a living reminder of how the past and present intertwine. With this palace unearthed, archaeologists and historians are eager to study its secrets and preserve them for future generations. After all, as long as there are stories still buried in the earth, the dialogue between past and present continues. And in Rome, that dialogue is eternal, ensuring that the legacy of the ancient Vatican palace beneath the city will live on, illuminating our understanding of a bygone world and inspiring wonder in all who hear its tale. But what if the secrets buried beneath Rome go even deeper than stone walls and forgotten palaces? While archaeologists uncover the Vatican's physical past, a far more shadowy legacy lies just beyond reach, locked behind the sealed doors of the
Vatican Archives. In our next video, we're diving into the dark secrets of the Vatican Archives, hidden for years, and what's been deliberately kept from the world. The Vatican's secret archives, nestled beneath the holy edifice of St. Peter's Basilica, are a repository of intrigue. These archives are a veritable vault, home to an estimated 53 linear miles of shelving containing documents that date back as far as the 8th century. Not simply a library, this labyrinthine collection is organized into different sections, each hosting materials from specific periods or of particular significance. At first glance, the archives may seem merely a historical record, but a closer look reveals much